Excuse me. Hi everyone, this is Sean. Welcome back to my channel. I just got off of work not too long ago. Headed home. Tomorrow I gotta wake up pretty early. I have mandatory PT. You guys don't know, I'm in a tactical assignment and we have to maintain our fitness levels, and we go through a very difficult fitness routine every single month. I mean, you're talking about like 45 minutes of intense exercises. Being 42, I'll be 43 pretty soon. This is very difficult on my body. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Maybe 2 more years. Or maybe a year more. Which drives me nuts for those private security officers, but we'll call them guards because guards infers a less professional person in my opinion. The ones that put the SWAT pins, the SRT pins, the ERT pins on their uniform without meeting any type of standard, just throwing on the pin. Anyhow, I want to go through some administrative stuff before I begin the major feature of this video. Early in the morning, I know Mike from the Professional Security Journal was watching our discussion about 9/11. My video got a demonetization smack. It turned into a limited monetization. Basically what that does is it brings my video all the way down to the bottom of the algorithm, and YouTube is less likely going to show those videos because they're not making any money off of it. It's very discouraging. I think like 3 or 4 of you are watching it, and then later on through the day more of you watch the video. I really don't know what I said on the video that pissed off YouTube. I'm not going to repeat what I think I said. I think there's some key words that the robot caught. I will not repeat those words on today's video, but let's not remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, those who worked that day at the Twin Towers. I mean, there's a lot of people on welfare right now. They've been milking it for, I don't know, years. And then you have these people that are hard at work at the Twin Towers that lost their life. We lost 2,996, close to around that time period, and then much more. Thank you for those in the military who made a lot of sacrifices, going to a lot of dangerous places to conserve our American way of life. Thank you for what you have done for us. There's a lot of sacrifices, and we all appreciate you. I also learned through one of our subscribers, thank you so much, that about 26 security officers perished in the Twin Towers. I didn't even know that there's an actual number. We often forget about private security because they're not in the first responder category in most jurisdictions. So we kind of just forget about them. We just give them a name. But let us not forget our approximate 26 that perish in the private security community. Thank you for those. And we pray for healing for the family as well, for those that we have lost. Having said that, just, you guys, if you're a YouTube content creator, just please be careful, okay? Wild Alaska, I watch his channels. I love the Wild Alaska channel. Wild Alaska, Cody, is actually coming to California. He's going to take our close quarter combat course. I'm not going to say the rest of the course name because I'm going to get demonetized again. That's going to be October 8th. That's going to be with Randy Nunez and his team at GVPS. I'm in charge of marketing for his organization. This is a volunteer assignment. I believe that you guys are getting the best of training. It's only $150 for about 8 hours of training. You're going to learn a lot. There's a lot of positive feedback. After the 8th, October 8th, the course fee, Randy tells me, is going to $800. I'm sorry, $400. I see the value in it. I mean, I've taken Mike Glover's class, G Fighter one, and that was worth $500 to have him present. The class ratio was basically he had himself as instructor, 2 coaches, and 25 students. Randy ran with, I think we had 8 students, and he ran with 3 instructors. That's an awesome instructor to student ratio. I think he's going to keep the ratio the same or similar. So far, we have 8 signed up for the San Diego training, which is scheduled for October the 7th in San Diego, California. If you're interested, send me an email to ssundahl. That's SSUNDAHL. That's SSUNDAHL at yahoo.com. And I will give you all of the details to that. Okay, I want to talk about hospital security. And I watched the Alaska Video channel. I actually forgot what I was going to mention. Okay, yeah, so I watched Alaska Video channel last night. I was part of his live stream. He's actually one of my favorite channels because I love nature, and Alaska's full of nature. This guy, Cody, he's just like a down-to-earth person. You watch his videos, you'll just like him. He's very likable. He talked about hospital security, that's one of the worst places to work in private security. I think he was a corrections officer, and he tells us that basically in a correctional setting, you have one inmate that communicates to a bunch of other inmates that another inmate is going to be at the hospital for surgery or something like that, and that's somebody that they want to whack. So rival gang members, they fake their sickness to go over there so that they can outdo or do their rival gang member. And I'm being really selective of my words. They might not make any sense because I don't want to get a slap by YouTube again. Having said that in mind, you might have people that are faking their injuries. And you're talking about prisoners that have been confined to life in prison. I mean, they do have a right to adequate medical care. If not, that's a violation of their 8th Amendment. So correctional facilities end up having 2 correctional officers go to the hospital. Sometimes there's surgery. If there's a surgery, they gown up. The correctional officers gown up, and they have to deal with this person. If this person's out of control, guess who they call, guys? Now, if they trust their security organization, if the house supervisor or the nurse manager, whoever's in charge, trusts their security staff, they're gonna call their in-house security staff, and it's usually in-house security that they trust. They usually don't trust Allied Universal, and I beg to differ on that. They most of the time they love their in-house security staff. I mean, they're committed. They're going to stand their ground. When I moonlighted at a hospital, I made a crazy pact with myself that no matter what happened, I'm going to stay here and protect the nursing staff, the doctors. I'm not going to go anywhere. I wore soft body armor. It was unarmed, but you guys know how I roll, right? And that was a time when Christopher Dorner, ex-LAPD cop that went rogue, he was hunting law enforcement officers. That was around
Caution. CA-111 accident.
That was around the time period where he was just taking out cops, and I was kind of fearful. Anyhow, I told myself, this is my hospital, this is my beat. I'm not going to go anywhere. Many times you have the same committed hospital staff in an in-house environment. Now, you guys know that I have a lot of law enforcement experience, I have a lot of security experience. I will tell you this, that hospitals are a dumping ground for law enforcement organizations. Many times, police officers, they don't want to follow through with an arrest, or sometimes the victim doesn't want to follow through with an arrest. These people are a pain in the ass in the city, so police officers tend to look for the major hospital and dump them off over there. I don't know. Is that true, you guys? I don't know if it's true elsewhere, but it seemed like everywhere I work at, hospitals are dumping grounds. Police have difficulty dealing with situations with a particular individual. You know what? The best thing that we could do right now, just dump them off at the hospital in another jurisdiction. Well, guess who has to deal with that person? And Jack Spade Productions is true. You know what I mean, Jack. They get to deal with security staff. You guys get to deal with them if you're working hospital security. And you get the most dangerous people, you guys. There are some people that law enforcement have placed on 5150 holds. In California, 5150 is the Welfare and Institution Code for involuntary confinement of up to 72 hours. There's people that should be in jail, that should be in prison. Instead, they're placed on a hold, on a 5150 hold. So what ends up happening is, if there's a criminal charge pending, what ends up happening is they go to the mental health hospital for up to 72 hours. After that, when it's time for them to be released, the nurse manager or the nurse supervisor calls law enforcement, and law enforcement is supposed to pick that person up. In a textbook way, that's the way it's supposed to work. And then that person gets booked into county jail or some type of jail facility. That's the way that it's supposed to work, okay? But many times that's not the way it works. Let me just emphasize this, that a lot of these people should be in jail. Yet you guys as hospital security, you're having to deal with this person. The hospital that I worked at, we just started a Jerry unit. That's slang for geriatrics. Am I pronouncing it right? And then we had 2 locked facilities. That means, I think it was a 5152 hold or 5156 hold. I can't remember the name. You guys know the name, the Welfare Institution Code. But after 72 hours, with the court order, these mental health patients stay longer than 72 hours. And guess who had to be, I guess, the cop on the beat, protecting staff from these people? Well, me. Me and those of you who work in-house security. So we would be positioned inside of the facility with all these people that are on longer than 72-hour holds. There was 2 facilities at the same hospital, you guys. 2 locked facilities. And then we had a what's the correct terminology for an open clinic? Walk-in clinic. I forgot what it is. Anyhow, there's a clinic where they just walk in as well. At our facility, okay, law enforcement did not have to wait with these patients. Guess who did? You guessed it, security. And that's why we were getting paid more than the average private security officer out there. Where I work at in law enforcement, my jurisdiction, we have to most of the time watch this 5150 the whole time until they're transferred to, unless they're transferred to another facility, meaning the locked behavioral health facility, which is actually just a temporary facility. Like we don't have the capabilities in our county to watch these patients for more than 72 hours. They either get transferred to Palm Springs or San Diego. And I just don't understand, because our county gets millions of dollars and they constantly misuse those funds. There should be no reason why we can't have a facility that houses patients more than 72 hours. It's crazy. And there's only 7 beds, you guys. And when there's a juvenile involved, that juvenile automatically takes out a whole room. And that whole room, I think, consists of 2 or 3 beds. It's nuts. Our behavioral health department out here is so screwed up that I was doing a training session. It was a law enforcement training session with behavioral health, kind of like on crisis intervention, your de-escalation quotation marks. And all the higher ups were talking, and then I raised my hand, and I couldn't take it anymore. You guys know that I've had a ragged law enforcement career, been terminated, been rehired, terminated, rehired, promoted, demoted, promoted. That's my career. So having said that, I have an open mind, and I speak what needs to be spoken. That's what gets me in trouble all the time. So I spoke out and I said, look, This county has some of the most worthless behavioral health staff ever. This behavioral health department that you guys manage on a day-to-day operation is one of the most worthless behavioral health departments in the United States. And the director at the time for behavioral health heard what I had to say. All of the higher ups behind me started, you could hear the whole classroom started moving around, and they didn't like what I said. And the doctor that gave the presentation said, hold on, let this officer continue. And then put it on the director. The director of behavioral health was there and said, look, this will never happen again. I assure you that we will improve our level of service. And I'm not kidding you guys, for 2 years, the best service ever. But sometimes you got to speak up. To also show you how worthless our county is. Okay, so we took somebody in for a behavioral health, and I'm not giving names, places, dates, and everything, so I'm afraid to say what I need to. We took this person in. He barricaded himself inside of a house, threatened. I gotta be careful with my words here. The name or the action starts with S, like SUICIDE, by cop. And I'm just doing this for the YouTube algorithm. He threatened that, said if we come in there, he's gonna rush us with a knife. So barricaded. I'm sorry. We set a police set a perimeter. Started calling in the assets. Started calling in the BORTAC, which is basically your SWAT team for Border Patrol, to take this person in safely. They end up coming too late. Went in there, took him in for a 5150 hold. And you would think that they would at least medicate him or give him the level of service that he needed in order for him to be safe in his own house. His father previously, I think like 10 years ago, tried to take a GUN from an officer's holster, and that almost ended badly. That father is not alive anymore. He got whacked in another jurisdiction by somebody who didn't want him alive anymore. But anyhow, this guy, obviously clinically depressed, had homicidal and suicidal ideations. Oh my goodness, I just said that word. And I kid you not, guys. I kid you not. Like 3 weeks later, he chases his father around. I'm sorry, the new father around with a freaking hacksaw. I'm sorry, an axe. Ends up like cutting fingers off of the victim, and then ends up hitting the victim over the head with this axe, splitting his skull. Like, why on earth was this person ever released from behavioral health? This person should have been in a locked facility. Why? We pump all this money into this worthless county's behavioral health department to see something like this happen. And I can't go public about it and give specific information because maybe it could be some HIPAA issues. And then I don't want to put myself out there right now. I do on YouTube because I can change around some of the facts around, so it's not connected to an actual situation that somebody can easily find. But why? So this guy was charged for attempted murder, sent to jail, and he's out, guys. He did 2 weeks. He's out. This is somebody that you guys might have to deal with in security, hospital security, where you might not have the tools that you need in order to go home a lot safely. You might be working by yourself. You don't have the ability to call a 998 or 999, which is one of the codes that we use in law enforcement for officer down or officer that really needs assistance. You don't have that ability to do that. You're pretty much on your own. But somebody like this The point of the story is somebody like this is roaming around right now. It's a dangerous world out there, and somebody like this can be in your hospital, guys. These patients, okay, they've been known to rip out IVs out of their arms, stab doctors, nurses, attack nurses with the IV pole. I mean, it's dangerous working in a hospital, and those who work unarmed, oh my goodness, I pray that you guys go home every day, because it's dangerous. It's just insane. And then the level of pay that you guys get is insane. If you're working contract security like Allied Universal, Securitas, I hope you guys are getting paid good. But I don't think that you are. I think the reason why that they're contracting out to you is because maybe there's a union disagreement, or they're trying to save money. And that's not the way that you could save money in other ways, but don't do that to security. Okay. Guys, also hospital, these are your environments where it might be someone's like lowest point in life, and you are the object of aggression. You know, they just see you, and that's it. They want to just take you out. I have made friends, in quotation marks, with behavioral health patients. This guy named John told me, hey, look, I'm Special Forces. I'm a former Ranger. If any of these patients ever jump you, I'm going to step in, fight till the death. Don't worry about it. Well, that's John. He was in every single month. 8 months later, John was threatening to kill me. And John was hyper aggressive that he needed to be pinned down and medicated. Okay. I'm telling you, people they're just like night and day. Guys and gals, we've had nurses sexually assaulted in these locked facilities. They'll fall asleep. They have these sitters, right? You're supposed to be watching these patients 24 hours. They have these sitters. Well, we've had patients sneak out of the room and sexually assault these sitters that fell asleep. No joke. And you won't hear about it, because hospitals will say, oh, this is HIPAA violation. Well, really, they're not making us think about it, because there's going to be a lot of attention, a lot of focus on that management. That's why they don't say nothing. The most craziest things I've seen in hospitals, we often see a lot of magazines for pistols at the bottom of the chair. Just think about this, guys. Like, what happens? You know, you have some dirtbag, and I'm not saying because you have a magazine falling out, you're a dirtbag. I'm just saying this is just something to think about. The professional doesn't have their magazine just fall out. They're more aware of their surroundings. But basically, you have these parolees, these gang members, these troublemakers, in the L&D section, that's labor and delivery section, and all of a sudden we get a call that there's a magazine on the bottom of the chair. Well, basically, it fell out. You know, that's the kind of issues that you have to deal with. I mean, basically, there's people that are armed there that shouldn't be armed. Labor delivery. Oh my goodness. You have, like, anybody could almost get pregnant. You have 5150 patients, you guys, that give birth, and they tell you, okay, this lady just, oh my goodness. Give me a minute. I had to watch her. She told me that once her baby is born, she's going to eat him. Yes. That's what you have to put up with. We had patients in there that attacked their newborns before, and then now they're having another baby. And you have to keep watching them. Use of force. Okay. The hospital that I worked at, I probably said this story many times, but we had a 5150 escape from the top floor, escape surgery. The elevator opens, and I see the nurse trying to gain control over the patient. So I go there, I put this patient in a control hold using a rear wrist lock, and I was about to do a rear wrist lock to takedown. The nurse pushed me out of the way and started screaming at me, I'm going to break her arm, you're abusing her. all of a sudden, okay, this patient is able to kick me, attack me, and I'm hit, and I'm struggling with the pain, and then she ends up running off. You're gonna have to deal with nurses like this that are anti-police. If they're anti-police, they're probably anti-security. All right, guys, if I talk anymore, I'm gonna go on a rant. I know that there's a lot of comments. Let me go through them. Oh my goodness. Look at all these comments. Jack Production says, I work armed security for a hospital. 8 years? It's a very political place. Oh my goodness. Bless you on that one. You stay strong over there and you be safe, Jack. Hey, Doug is here. God bless the USA. Definitely. God bless all of you for protecting the USA. Mike from Professional Security Journal says, I just learned there's a private security page like Officer Down Memorial page. I'm going to say this, Mike. I'm not going to assign any credibility to that page. I know that the author does his best to document situations, but the research that's done on there is nowhere near the FBI statistics that are done every November. I mean, nowhere close. It's the best that we can do. I use those statistics sometimes, but I just don't like the methodology. Hopefully that will change, but unfortunately that's the only page. They do have it highlighted today for 9/11 guards. That's awesome. That's great. I haven't been to that page in years. Maybe over a year. I'll revisit it. Walaska, Wild Duty is the worst with an inmate scary stuff. Yeah, hey, Walaska, I don't know what time you got here, but basically we talked about you. We talked about your channel, how much we love you. Thank you for the shout out, by the way, on your channel that you gave to our channel. And yes, I do remember on your video, you mentioned hospital duty is the scariest with inmates. And we talked about, again, some of the things that you mentioned on your video yesterday on your live stream. By the way, guys, when there's a couple of content creators that are in this small security community. When somebody goes live, and Alaska went live he actually went live when I normally go live. But that's fine. You know, that's fine. But the most rudest thing that you could do to other content creators in the security community is go live when others go live. That's just messed up. Professional Security Journal says, I'm going to go to Fieldcraft's new headquarters, grand opening next weekend. They moved buildings and are unveiling the new headquarters the 16th this coming week. That's awesome. And hopefully, Mike, you'll take one of their classes. And maybe you can go to Action Target for me. They're located in Provot, Utah. They don't even answer my emails. I have a large order of, I think it's $6,000 or $8,000 for them, but they don't want to answer. Trying to get some custom targets and just a bunch of stuff. Maybe you could go there and knock on the door for me and ask them, hey man, like, answer your email. Jack says, yeah, inmates in a hospital or mental health issues can be dangerous. Hospital is right up there with transit. That's what Professional Security Journal says. Russian guy in Louisiana, he says, hi Russian guy. Hey guys, so Russian guy actually is on Instagram. We barely connected. I'm on Instagram under The Firearms Trainer. It's The Firearms Trainer. I mean, just look at the title. That already shows you what kind of content is on there. If you don't like the content, then don't go to the channel. Walaska says, send their people on the streets to do it. Torpedoes. I think he's referring to hospital inmates. I'm sorry, inmates when they go to the hospitals, they'll get a hold of their homies. Maybe they're called torpedoes. I never worked in a correctional facility. Actually, I should say that I did, because I worked at a locked behavioral health facility. Jack Production says, I've been left without police or anything to watch a suicide suspect or psych patient. Yes. And that's the thing, you guys. Normally, police watch these people, but they have security doing it. Russian guy says, just passed the exam for unarmed security guard in Louisiana. Next goal is to be armed. How are you guys doing? Russian guy, we are doing excellent. Thank you for immigrating to the best country in the world. Thank you. Thank you for leaving Russia and coming to the best place. Subai Mirage says, Roosevelt, California had an inmate escape for like 48 hours and he shot at police. What? And killed innocent civilians at a park midday. What the hell? That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Hey guys, also I did a survey. If you own a security company or you manage one or you got quotes for an insurance policy, please let us know how much it costs. I mean, you could choose out of one of the 4 or 5 answers just to get everyone else an idea on how much it costs to run a security company. I think some of the names do look familiar, but thank you guys for participating in the survey. It's going to help a lot of people out. Those of you guys who are paying $2,000 for armed security, we're going to have to talk, because I believe that there's probably exclusions you're probably not covered. We'll talk later on that. I'm going through here. Mike from Professional Security Journal says they'll L2K, they'll just dump and run. I don't know what L2K is. Subi says some subjects come in armed. I had a friend with AUS, that's Allied Universal, got fired by unarming him, even though he was ex-LEO. What the hell? That's stupid. That's what I mean about Allied. I mean, there's like no job security unless you belong to one of their local unions. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have a license or you're in a non-constitutional state, I mean, you gotta be really careful about walking in hospitals armed or not. In Texas, they call it APOW. What's APOW? A piece of work? Vegas calls it Legal 2000. All right, you guys have some inside jargon here that I don't understand. Jack calls it a 24/7 jumping ground clinic. Duck in the box. Mike says, you just made me want Jack in the Box on the way to work. I leave for night shift, top of the hour. I got a 10-6, then my secondary job. Oh my goodness. Wild Alaska says the crazies were called wobbleheads. Mike says he feels bad for laughing. Don't worry, guys. I will see you guys all in hell because I've laughed for things I shouldn't be laughing at. So we'll all have our little circle of friends at the bottom of hell. Oh my goodness. Mike says poor Sean is really trying to pick his words. I'm gonna get demonetized for sure. I just couldn't do it. Security guard command says, Sean, have you been stalking me at work? Oh my goodness. You know why David's saying that? I mean, David obviously works hospital security. We communicate a lot offline, and there are obviously things I can't talk about. But I think he's saying you're stalking me at work because of all of the. Oh my goodness, guys! I had this biggest freaking moth. It's like a huge spinix moth. It's like the size of a hummingbird just land on my car. And it actually looked like a bird. Off topic. That's a topic for Wild Alaska. Yeah, so David, I think he says you've been stalking me because I know what you guys go through in a hospital environment. I know what you guys go through. I've been in your shoes before. Subi Mirage says also the liability of skirting around PR to not look abusive on camera. Suspect won't get no charges. That's the thing about hospital patients, the 5150s. If they attack you Okay, the argument is, well, I couldn't form an intent because I was under this altered behavioral health state, and it does work a lot. I remember working hospital security. Sometimes the nursing staff did press charges. Working hospital security, oh my goodness, guys, I've had, I'm not gonna say this on camera because people are gonna get mad. Anyhow, I had rocks launched at me from a patient that escaped. And you work hospital security. If these patients escape, you're gonna lose they're gonna lose Medi-Cal and all the funding from the state. So you do whatever you do to catch them. All I can tell you is I ran off property to catch this person, and there was a fight. Need I say no more? I won. I remember one of my partners was watching. I mean, he was like running to where I was at. We were in the alley. And then I just remember him saying, "Damn, Sean. Damn." And then a bunch of explicits after that. I gained him. I mean, this guy was freaking huge, man. And I'm thin. You guys met me in person. I mean, I'm 5'6", skinny, small physique. And I just remember my partner just saying, "Damn." Anyhow, I used reasonable force to gain him under control. All right, guys, let me go to the comments real quick. Hey, Westwell's here. Welcome, sir. Like that case where the woman threw her newborn in the trash. Oh, my goodness. It's just awful. Awful. Hey, so Mike he's near Westwell. It says Provo, Utah. Yeah, that's where all my stuff's at that I need to buy. Damn it. Sam Martin 77 says, I believe South Coast Public Safety provides hospital security. I don't know. I think we did a social media review on them. South Coast Public Safety. You know what? I think the owner reached out to me on an email. Good people. He's a good person. I forgot what he wanted, but I needed to reach out to him. Dave from the Security Guard Command says, those oath conflict in the hospital often. Okay. Carlos 1111 says hospital security ain't bad if you swole, and plus Blackstone Consulting paying up to $53 an hour? What the? $53 an hour? That's more than what I'm getting right now. I mean, what is this? San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York? Yeah, I mean, being swole helps. But remember, you can't be an idiot and be swole. You gotta use that brain. While Alaska says, I was stabbed once by a lady. It was kind of flattering for a minute. Ugh, that's ugly. Marksman, that's a new name. Bro, I'm trying to get my guard card with expungement of misdemeanor. Will I get denied? That's kind of an off-topic question, Marksman. I don't know. Maybe. Depends on the misdemeanor. Felonies, you'll have a harder time. And to be honest with you, the state of California, it just seems like they're allowing anybody to have guard cards right now. I mean, you'll be surprised. I'm not saying that you're all jacked up or you're all messed up. You know, a lot of people learn from their mistakes. I actually did a video on this before. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Just all you have to do is apply and find out. Unfortunately, you have to fork out your fees for that. Mike says Blackstone has a bad rep, pays and everything. I left federal work, highest paying in the area. Didn't matter. Work environment was bad. Westwell says... Oh, okay. While Westwell says a butt in bed means cash in the till. What the? A butt in bed means cash in... I don't even know what that means. It's funny, though. While Alaska says stalked, not stabbed. Okay. Oh, you're stalked by somebody. Oh, my goodness. I know a bunch of police officers that owe child support that have been stalked, but that's a topic of another story. Oh, my goodness. I know a lot of you have been in the correctional law enforcement environment. I know this is a mostly male channel, but we have females watching. Avoid alcohol and avoid women, and you'll be great. You'll have a very successful career. Oh my goodness. Marksman says petty theft when I'm 18, you're 27. I think you're gonna be fine. I mean, the argument to not give you license is you're gonna have to safeguard assets. You know what? I actually think it's worth applying. I mean, it's a misdemeanor. You learn from your mistakes, and then you can always appeal it later. Just, you got to just show BSIS how you are rehabilitated. You want to show people, maybe like some members of the church, community members, maybe some police officers that will vouch for you, that will testify on your behalf, if that even gets to that point. But yeah, I mean, we do some stupid things. I mean, I've done tons of stupid stuff at 15, 16, even 17. 18, yeah, stupid stuff. 20, 22, stupid stuff. Westwell says, if you can own a gun, should be no problem licensing. I agree. Russian guy says, just backed, by the way, in Friday, gonna create my English-speaking channel, and will show you some apartment patrol. Also gonna tell Americans about my experience in Russian police. Hey, that's cool. That's awesome. I want to hear about that. Carlos says, for $53, I'll take my chances. Shit. Marksman says, thank you, man. I'm going for it. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, seriously, we all make mistakes. You're at least brave enough to put it on this public channel. So I wish the best for you. I wish the best for you. Hopefully you'll get your guard card. Subi says, I've known ex-gang members with manslaughter get guard cards. See? I'm telling you. Hey, I know ex-gang members that are mayors in LA. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Mike says, pay isn't everything, man. Can't chase the bag. And only bag. Gotta find a good environment. That's true. That's true. Pay's not everything, guys. And Mike just speaks in generalities. Hey, guys, I'm going to log off. Looking forward to the interesting discussions in the regular comment section box below. Take care.